Today's recipe calls for almond flour. I'm going to show you how to make Amaretti cookies. They're not made like a traditional cookie, they're made a completely different way, which makes them really fun to make, and they're super tasty. So with that said, let's get started.
The first thing we need to do to start these sweet little traditional Italian treats is preheat the little oven box. Set the temp to 325 Fahrenheit or 162 degrees Celsius. While that's becoming all hot and ready, we can prep our ingredients out. Collect a large holding device and a fine mesh strainer. Drop in 5 cups or 480 grams blanched fine almond flour. Once in the tool, sift it into the bowl. I find it much easier to do this step in 2 sets. Doing it this way will make it less of a mess, just because it takes a little more effort to sift almond flour compared to all-purpose flour. After you have the first set of flour sifted into the bowl, dump in 1.5 cups or 180 grams granulated sugar. We'll sift this into the bowl as well. This will help ensure we achieve a proper mix together, giving us a better end product. Following the cavity creator, add the rest of the flour in. Push through any almond flour that may be stuck. Repeat the same process as before until all the flour and sugar is in the holder of goods. Now that those 2 ingredients are in, make it hail a 1/4 teaspoon sea salt. After adding all the things in, whisk your face off to mix everything into one dry, dusty mess. Once the dry goods are taken care of, let's move on to the wet ingredients next. Collect 5 large eggs or 150 grams egg whites that are room temp. Oh, also, grab some small containers and the bowl of a stand mixer or any large bowl will work. We need to separate the yolks from the egg whites. I believe the best way to make this happen is by cracking the egg into a small bowl or container, then fishing out the yolk and placing it in the different holder of goods. I recommend doing this 1 egg at a time, just in case a yolk breaks by mistake. We do not want any of the fat from the yolk in the egg whites. It's imperative to ensure the mixing bowl is squeaky clean as well. It should not have any grease or fat in it either. I'll explain more here in a few why that is. Save the eggs to make some homemade fresh pasta or make cured egg yolks. Repeat the same process until all of the eggs have been split into 2 components. When you've successfully accomplished this task, thoroughly give your hands a wash. Alrighty then, using a stand mixer with a whisk attachment or a hand mixer, beat the egg whites until they become a stiff peak. This should take roughly 4 to 5 minutes on a medium-high to high speed. Periodically stop to see if you've reached what we're looking for. You can overmix it, causing the egg whites to break, releasing all the water they hold, so ensure you don't overmix them. So, the reason why you don't want any fat in the bowl or in the egg whites is because it'll prevent the egg whites from bonding and forming on a molecular level, which will prevent the egg whites from forming the stiff peak we're shooting for. It's some food science type stuff. How do you know when you've reached stiff peaks? Great question, just look it up on Ask Jeeves. Anyways, the best way to tell is by picking up some of the egg white with the whisk attachment. If the whites hold shape and form without falling off, then you know you did it right. Also, there should be a little peak or mound in the bowl of egg whites where you pulled the tool out from. If this has happened, keep mixing. On the other hand, if things look chunky and watery, then you overdid it and have to start over. If things went according to plan, bring back the bowl of dry goods. Add about 1/3 of the fluffy egg white clouds to the bowl of flour. Very softly fold the ingredients together with a rubber spat, scooping and folding from the edges into the center. You want to do this carefully because we do not want to pop the teeny tiny air bubbles that are trapped in the egg whites. Those bubbles will give us a really soft cookie in the end. After it's completely folded in, add another small portion of the egg to the bowl. Repeat the same process as before. It doesn't seem like this is going to make anything, but just trust the process, it works out. Before we add the last of the white cloudy stuff, make it rain 1/2 teaspoon vanilla extract. Follow that up with 2 teaspoons almond extract as well. Give those a quick mixer into the goods. Finally, add the rest of the egg white following the same rules as before. Mix right up to the point where you no longer see any egg whites. We do not want to overmix the goods. The cookie dough should look hydrated and like a thick paste compared to a traditional style cookie dough. After it's completely forced to be one unit, set it aside for now. Prep some half trays, line them with either parchment paper or a silicone baking mat. The baking mat is the way to go, just saying. Let's start portioning these things out. Use a medium-sized cookie scoop if you have one. If not, weigh them out to 1 ounce or 28 grams each. When portioned, roll them in your palms to make them into a smooth little ball of dough. After doing that, drop them into a bowl that has half a cup or 50 grams of powdered sugar. Roll the sphere around the bowl until it's completely coated in the sugar. Transfer it over to the tray. Leave a little space between each cookie for the best bake. Repeat the same couple steps until the tray is lined out with the raw dough. Next, we need to flatten the cookies out to roughly 1/4 inch thick. I tried using my hand to do this, but it doesn't work all that well. Instead, use a glass that has a flat bottom to it. Use equal and even pressure to flatten each cook out. If you accidentally overpressed one, lightly squeeze it together to bring it back to a thicker shape. Once everything has been pressed out, snag the tray of goods. Chuck it into the preheated oven box on the middle rack for the best results. Bake them for 20 to 25 minutes or until the edges have set and the bottoms are a nice golden brown color. Times may vary depending on how hot your little oven runs. It's best practice to test bake 1 or 2 cookies so you can adjust things as needed, like bake time or thickness and size. When the timer rings, pull those sweet treats out of the heat. Allow them to rest and fully set up on the tray for a few minutes. After they've set up, transfer them over to a wire rack to completely cool down. Repeat the same steps until all of the dough has been baked off. Once everything has been baked, eat these little tasty treats with an espresso or get real crazy and dip them into some melted dark chocolate. Whatever you decide to do, just enjoy.
Alright, now that our cookies are done, let's give them the old tasteroo. They came out looking really aesthetically pleasing. They look very delicious. We got some good color on the edges, that nice golden brown, which of course is going to be flavor. They look like they're going to be really soft. They're nice and thick as well. And then they're dusted without powdered sugar, which of course is going to be super tasty because sugar is the best thing ever. Not really, but you know what I mean. And they got nice crackly goodness to it. Overall, they just look really tasty. They look super soft on the inside. Let's give them a shot. These things came out super dang tasty. The first thing that hits your palate is that almond flavor, which makes total sense because we get it from the extract and the flour as well. They are on the sweeter side, but we get a ton of richness and fat from the almond flour itself because almonds are super rich and fatty. Then we get a faint hint of the vanilla extract, which is a nice base of flavor. We get like the tiniest bit of salt from that sea salt that we added. Then we get some sweetness from that powdered sugar on the outside. Then that caramelization that we got on the edges of the cookies bring a ton of flavor to the table as well. Texture-wise, the edges are nice and crunchy, but the center is super dang soft. Overall, these things are just really good. This cookie is super simple to knock out, and it's perfect for any gathering out there that you're attending. And you can make these any which way you want. Maybe add some slivered almonds to the top, or get real crazy with it and drizzle some dark bitter chocolate over the top that's high in cocoa because it'll counterbalance the sweetness so you get that bitter and sweet. It's the best combination ever. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. I ate a few of these cookies and I need to go brush my teeth, because if I don't, I feel like they're gonna fall out. So I'm gonna go do that, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodness from that, and a bunch of fat and richness from the fat. Background, and a little bit of saltiness from that salt that we added. Not today. Hold a ton of fat. Then, which would be perfect